This week in Warcraft, is the increasing difficulty curve not smooth enough in Orgrimmar? Apparently not. A free level 90 character for everyone who buys Warlords is confirmed, as well as testing for buying extra level 90 characters. And finally, sadly, the Iron Skyreaver has turned out to be an in-game store mount, and it can now be yours for €20 or $25. I'm Mezzy, and welcome to WoW Weekly. This is episode number 18, and this week I am joined by Matt, or Viv as we usually call him. How are you, Matt?
I'm not too bad. How are you, darling?
Yeah, not too bad. Sadly, you called me darling again. Last week you did without. I was hoping that would stay, but I guess not.
No, I have to do it every now and then. Keep you on your toes.
Oh yeah, of course. This week, as always, LJ's here as well. How are you, LJ? You are muted, LJ.
I said, yes, how are you, LJ? But I'm doing fine.
That's good to hear.
This is when the Americans listen to the show and go, oh my god, mental European people.
Yep.
Well, if it makes them feel any better, I lived in the US for 3.5 years.
Oh, stop.
There we go again.
Oh, shut up. One of you is a Canadian.
America.
Fuck yeah. I mean, darn yeah.
I'll bring democracy to your door.
Oh god, no.
Run away!
All right.
It's time to run away from the freedom.
Oh yeah, definitely. So let's get started. First up, Blizzard came out with what I feel is really just trying to deceive us into thinking we got new information for Warlords, which is that they said that if you want to enter the beta now is the time to opt in for it, which could indicate that the beta will be starting soon. There were more things in the post, but we'll start with just this. Do you guys think we will actually be seeing the beta soon, now with this new post?
Oh, that's a question.
Yeah.
My only point is, it's almost, I think, what you were saying. I think they're going to... It's a situation where I think they are going to have to do the beta if they're not going to bring any more information out, going back to what we said last week about the PvP part of it. They've already announced there's going to be another bit for the PvP thing to do, so they might be thinking, well, what we do if we bung a beta in there now, because they must have, as you said, they've been working on it for so long now, they must have a decent majority of it done or on the way, almost finished, if you know what I mean. A vast majority of it's got to be close to being done.
Well, you would think that, but if I remember at BlizzCon, only the 2 starter zones were really far along. So, I'm not so sure.
You bloody hope so by now.
Yeah.
Well, you never know how far they are. We'll only know how far they are when we have the beta. That's what the beta is for. But yeah, it's difficult to say. I mean, it could be that they just want people to opt in so they have a real expectancy of people who might buy it.
Or is it just fake information to give the impression that, really, we're working on it. It's going to be soon.
TM.
TM. Yeah. Normally, I have a pretty good will for Blizzard to believe them. But this time, I'm just not buying it. I'll see it when I'll believe it when I see it.
I think they've got to do something. As we said last week, we turned around and said at the moment the PvE part of the world of the thing feel a little bit neglected because they've pretty much done nothing. They've not turned around and said this is what's going to happen now for ages. So to me, it just makes perfect sense if they did actually just turn around now and do the beta, even if it's only starter zone or something. At least it's something for you to piss around with and something to do for a bit. There will be more than that. There's got to be. So let's hope.
Yeah, and we'll get back to this subject at the end of the podcast because the second part of the podcast also brings up some interesting stuff that might influence the timeline for Warlords of Draenor. So they also said that soon, TM, you'll be able to pre-order your copy of Warlords of Draenor, which will also once again have a digital collector's edition. which for me is pretty great because I still get to have the collector's edition then. And to add to that, as soon as you bought it, you'll receive the pet amount instantly, which is pretty cool. I wish they'd at least tell us what the pet amounts are. Now it's
Troll.
just-
Goblin.
Well,
What,
I have-
a goblin is going to be the pet?
No, that's for the Diablo 3 collector's edition, the treasure goblin.
Yeah.
But I was kind of hoping it would be the Iron Sky Reaver, but sadly, it's a damned
Just a quick question.
store mount.
Just to clarify what you just said, sorry. Did you say that even if you buy the digital online copy, they're going to be you'll be able to get the physical copy as well, or
No.
because this year I want because I'm actually elder. You'll be able to tell me because you had the physical copy, didn't you? The physical collector's edition of Mop. LJ, hello.
Yeah. I always buy the collector's edition. Sorry.
Did you?
Yeah, I have the collector's edition. All of them except vanilla.
Did you actually get that before the release date, or did it come afterwards?
Afterwards, that was also because of the delivery problems the company I ordered it from had. But yeah,
Okay.
I
'Cause that's
pre-ordered it.
I'd love to get the actual physical copy, but I wouldn't want to risk not having it ready and available for the actual release day. So
Yeah, exactly. You want to level as soon as the clock strikes midnight.
yeah, or 3.5 hours later after the lag goes.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man, that was terrible last time.
Oh no, it was such a good game design. They thought, you know what, let's just do a trained level quest, which everybody on every server will have to do it exactly the same time. That will completely fuck all the servers up.
Oh yeah.
Well, let's do it anyways.
I thought it would completely work.
The thing is, as far as we can tell right now anyway, it's going to be the same like Mist of Pandaria started. Well, I suppose the Horden lines are going to be really in different zones now. But other than that, it'll all be all of the Horde clumped up in one area and all of the Alliance clumped up in one area. Way to go, learning from your mistakes, Blizzard. I mean, if they don't put in two different options, like in Wrath of the Lich King.
Well, I don't mind. I think it will work out all right. I'm going to be optimistic. I've got to be optimistic.
With us too, yeah, you're the one
Oh,
who's
yeah.
supposed to be the optimist. Yeah.
I have to be optimistic. I can still remember now thinking we're going to have a race to get the, try and get round first. Then you start the patch and you realise you've just lost 3.5 or 2 hours due to lag. Or due to literally, I can remember being the most arduous thing on the planet on that ship, trying to click on the parachute.
Oh, that was terrible.
And
That was
you
absolutely
sit there going,
awful.
I've clicked it! And nothing happens.
Yeah.
Then you go 6.5, 25 minutes later.
Animation.
I've moved! 25 minutes later after that. I'm flying!
Yep.
And then you realise that all the people that stayed in Stormwind and just fucking queued for groups continuously are still just spamming the groups like, you bastards!
Yeah, that sucked pretty hard. Anyway, let's move on to the last part of the news post, basically. The scouting report, I believe it was called. Something like that. Yeah, so you'll also be able to receive your instant level 90 right away, as soon as you get the pre-order done. And at the same time, soon on the PTR, they'll be testing out paying for getting an extra instant level 90 character. Now, this is also something we talked about last week, I believe, or the week before. They are so they are going to do the everyone gets an instant level 90 character. Thoughts? Happy? Sad? Impartial? LJ with your 11 level 90s?
Impartial, like we've discussed this before, I think. So yeah, for me, it's not really useful. Having, well, the thing is, we might go with friends to another server, go horde or something like that. So then it's fine. But I mean, if you want to play on the same server and you already have a level of 90s, I realize that it's a really small percentage of no lifers that have that, but it's
Hmm.
still useless for me. Well, useless. It's not really handy, anyways. It'll be my 12 level 90. Whoop-de-doo. But yeah, for the players, I think it though, when you go to another perspective for somebody who's just played the game, starting to play the game, maybe even this is the expansion that they start play the game, or that they have started now for that have been playing for 1 or 2 years, something like the beginners. Then it is really a nice thing for to do for them
Hmm.
because they can play the new expansion. They can really go into all the new zones, and they can really play World of Warcraft and what it's all about now and not buy the game and then have to level to level 90, and then they can play the expansion that they really wanted to play.
Yeah.
So I get that from that perspective is really is a good idea and a good option. But for players who have already for players who are already playing this game for like 3 or 4 years or more, it's not that great. It might give you an insight to a class that you've never played or something, but it's not more than that, to be honest. Other than another alt.
Well, yeah, it does help the more seasoned players to re-roll if they want to.
Yeah, true.
Um, so because I believe that was one of the reasons they also gave to give players that chance before the next expansion launches. So if we say soon TM is I don't know 1-2 months, then that'll still give players plenty of time to play on that character. And really then expanding the lifespan of this expansion as well, to give players something to do, although it's the same stuff but on another character they wouldn't otherwise have perhaps played. Yeah, I don't think we've had Matt respond to this yet.
I like it.
And why do you like it?
Just because I've not got a horde, and I will soon have a level 90 horde.
Yeah.
Or a tank. You never know. I've already got two. Might as well have another one. Yay. Um,
Can
but
never have
no,
too many tanks.
no, too many tanks. You know, I've got. I'm in the process of leveling. What I've got 5 level 90s now. I've just realised that is more than I thought. I've got my hunter at 86, and part of me, I'm going to be using this just to experience horde, and I think that is what a lot of people use, and I think that will be a very good point for it. I do agree with the concept of what people are saying. Oh, it allows you to re-roll, do this, learn to play, and I think that couple of months of learning the class really helps because I've got a hunter who, when I quit the
Oh no,
game,
you have a hunter as well now.
I have Chewy with a pet called Mezzy.
Oh my
Um,
god.
Oh yeah, that one.
yeah, but literally that hunter was one that because I quit the game for a while, it was one that I got given basically automatically boosted to level 80.
Yeah.
And even though it's a good idea on paper, because that only happened when I came back, I had no idea what the hell I was doing on that character. I had a pet that ran in net stuff. That was about as useful I was. And to have those that extra couple of months for the experience of learning the characters, I think will be vital to everybody and does make a lot of sense. For the reason I'll be using it, just to get a horde character. To be fair, I'll probably just create a horde character that like a class that I like and play already, just slightly different. I might make it like another healer that just so I can experience the healing on that side a bit better and get better at that. But apart from that, that's pretty much what I'll be using it for. But I think it's good. It's something they said they were going to do. We were worried about whether they're going to charge extra for it, and now it looks like they're not going to. So at the end of the day, yeah, they're
Yeah.
giving us something. It's nice.
Funny thing is, and that's going to be with the next subject as well, as that both of the things we talked about today, and basically they talked about in the last 2 days, were discussed in the community like in the last week or two. So it feels like they feel like they need to respond really quickly before people get turned off by certain concepts. So I wonder if this is going to be more of a trend now, that they watch what the community is discussing, and then posted an announcement about it of what their intentions are. I guess that could be good, but yeah, I'd rather have them stay ahead of the crowd. They should have already brought the news out a week or two ago.
Well, as we said, they should have already have brought something out a week or two ago regarding everything that's happening. They seem to have brought the information out about the PvP, which we turned around and said, okay, fair enough, it's next PvP. That gives everyone sort of a ballpark for when the game's going to come out. And since then, they've actually not really brought anything else. Like, I check MMO every now and then. One of the biggest posts they've done on MMO recently was from Ghostcrawler, who left just on his opinion. You're sort of thinking, well, that's fair. It must show you that even he probably has some feelings for his old company still. Even he's thinking, yeah, they've not really told much. So let's make an entire thing of talking crap.
Yeah, pretty much.
They still posting that, but it was just his opinion, and people still turn around and was like happy that it done it because again, they've just not posted anything, and they just need to. As soon as they post something, I think all will be well.
Yeah, exactly. I think we've pretty much covered the entire scouting report. So let's just move on to what's really the excuse me, to what's really the more important news of the two news bits basically. And that's starting next reset, Blizzard is going to start with targeted nerfs. So LJ, for the normal targeted nerfs, we're going to need your expert opinion on it from a casual guild raid perspective.
Expert opinion now, even.
Yes, exactly. You've been in there long enough now. So, let's get started.
It's that bad, huh?
Oh yes, it is. So, 4 bosses are going to get targeted nerfs next week, starting with Galakras. On 10-man normal and on flex difficulty, Galakras troops' health will be nerfed. Is that really needed for the more casual player, LJ?
No, I don't think so. We're going into the 3rd week now that we'll be trying to get Garrosh down.
Mm-hmm.
So we've had some good progress lately. But Galakras, I get Galakras though is like the first boss that will is like a gear check basically. So it is the first boss that will give your guild problems if it's susceptible to it, to put it like that. If it's not up to scratch. So from that point of view, I get it. But I mean, not to speak bad of my guild, but if we can get it, then I think if people who have put a little effort into it, they can also get it.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that we're the worst guild ever, but it's just we're not professional whatsoever, and we still
just
sometimes
do it for fun.
Yeah, we do it for fun. We still have some difficulties on some bosses, though. This is like the first week we had no wipes whatsoever yet. Okay. So that's very nice, of course.
If I had a clapping sound, I would do that, but you'll have to do it.
Thank you. But hopefully get Garrosh down one of these days as well.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see just about when that happens, but I'm hopeful. But no, I don't think that for Galakras, I get why they do it, but I don't think it's really needed.
What I'm really curious about now, though, is what the average item level is of the players that are struggling on Galakras normal right now.
Yeah.
Because obviously the nerf is intended for those people who are struggling with the troops. So,
yeah.
What is their average item level? Because obviously, yes, we as Aurum have much more focused raiding guild. We got it down in the first week. I don't know what our average item level was, but it would have been, I don't know, somewhere 530, 540, 41 maybe. And I think it took us, I don't know, maybe an hour or less to down it in the first week with that gear, that amount. So, what is the average item level? Because surely it would be higher by now for those more casual guilds. To still have trouble with Galakras, which is only the 5th boss in Orgrimmar.
Yeah, well, I wonder about that as well. I'm unsure, but of course it's difficult to compare your guild to like even my guild. because you guys are in a different tier than us, literally and figuratively speaking. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the case with tons of guilds. Obviously, I'm just taking ours as an example because that's
Yeah,
the
of
one I've
course.
lived through, basically.
Yeah, exactly, and I get that. Of course, that's normal. But it's just with you have like a lot of guilds and players like you guys that item level is not that big of a issue
Hmm.
as to playing wise. I'm not saying that. Of course, you need better gear eventually, but for like normal tier, you guys are not going to need to
Yeah, we're
have the
going
best
to
gear to
go
get through.
through the mechanics pretty quickly.
Exactly. But for some, I get that for some it will they really need it and they need to be on the highest possible item level to get
Yeah.
through. But I also think it's partial that they need to get their, well, not their act together, but just get
Put more effort in?
tactics. Yeah, get the tactics and the effort more in. I don't. I wonder how many people have, how many guilds are struggling at the moment at Galacrest then, because we're how many weeks in now?
4 months.
4 months.
And basically take out a few weeks for the holidays.
Yeah, because lots of guilds don't do anything then.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's difficult to say like what would have to change then. But I don't think the nerfs are that necessary at the moment. I think,
No.
but that's just from my point of view. I mean, there could be a lot of guilds that say, yeah, give us the nerfs because we're stuck on this for ages now, and I get that that can be frustrating and annoying, but it's just I don't think it's really needed.
No, and we'll get back to that at the end because I agree with you as well. Let's keep it a mystery what Matt thinks so that we have something to get back on.
Oh,
But on the Galacross nerfs, Matt, have you been playing Flex much at all?
um, not that much as I'm in it now, scared with hell the group that I'm in. But
What?
no,
Okay.
I play a little bit. I've done Galacross recently on. I don't think it needs nerfing at all. But hey, that's just me.
All
Being me.
right. Yeah. Let's just move on to the next one because it's kind of. Yeah, it's kind of weird that Galacross, the fifth one, needs a nerf, and then the next one is Thok, which is the 10th. And these Thok nerfs are for 10-man normal, heroic, and on flex. And excuse me, his roar and shock blast damage are getting nerfed on all those difficulties, and basically that's because uh, smaller groups, 10-man groups, for example, have less cooldowns to deal with the increasing amount of roars that happen as you go through phase 1. Now, this is something that, especially on 10-man heroic, you obviously notice, because then if you don't have a holy paladin, it gets a lot more tougher for a good part of phase 1 at least. However, is it really necessary? From my point of view, no. I feel like the damage is manageable even as a 10-man guild with not the perfect setup for it, healer-wise. Thok was one of the fights that we didn't have the perfect setup. We don't have a Holy Paladin, for example, or Paladin at all for that matter.
What,
And
you guys don't have a paladin?
no, we
Wow.
don't.
Okay, now I know what's lacking with you guys.
Oh. But yeah, I feel like it. Okay, great. It'll be a bit easier to farm, but I felt like it was a good ramp up in difficulty and basically a wall for the rest of Siege of Orgrimmar. Now, obviously, LJ, you haven't done it on heroic, but maybe you can say something about normal mode first.
Well, for Thok, I know that we had a lot of difficulties on that as well. Well, a lot of difficulties being 3 or 4 weeks of wipes on it, I think. So not extreme difficulties, but still, it costs us a little bit of time. But
Maybe
what was
it's
it?
good to say how many hours per week because you raid less often than most
We
guilds.
rate 3 days, 4 hours per day, so that's 12 hours a week ish. Say more like close to 11 if you count. Like, sometimes we stop a bit earlier, count depending on
Can I
trash.
just say one thing on what LJ is saying though about say specific guild that we're doing that at the time? See, I know you had a bit of a tank issue at the time, didn't you? I think you sort of you went in 2 or 3 times with different tanks and stuff like that. And
Yeah, we've had member issue, mostly tank issues. Definitely, we've had like 5 or 6 different tanks now. Like we always have
You're not
one.
close to
One.
the Aurum record yet.
No, not that yet. Not that bad yet. But no, we have one main tank, a paladin tank, which is basically almost always there. But we've had
or,
sorry.
or asleep, or eating pizza.
Or sleep, or so, or eat pizza, or whatever. But we that is a different matter. Well, we've had other issues, like one of the other tanks recently became a father, so he's cut down on his raiding time basically. So we just the other day we got a new Death Knight tank, which is really good. So we're happy with that. Hopefully we can push on now with Garrosh, killing Garrosh. But as for Thok, what we were talking
Yeah.
about. um, it was the two main things that were getting nerfed, right? The damaging things.
Yeah, the roar, so the
Yeah.
big AoE thing, and shock blast. And now I feel really terrible because I'm not sure if that's the single target person one or on the tank, but I believe it's the single target person one.
I think so too. Well, I like for a healer perspective, the fearsome war is pretty nice. That gets nerfed. It's
Hmm.
it's pretty hard to heal with, at least for a holy paladin. For me, at least, it's just after a while you can't do anything anymore because you don't have any, that much instance.
Yeah.
But for the rest, I mean, it's supposed to be a difficult fight. It's supposed to be one of those fights that's a make or breaker, to be honest. So I like the fight uh, itself. It's not a great fight, but it's an okay fight. I like it. Just fighting have to fight a huge devil sword. It's called then, but T-Rex basically.
Hmm.
So, and I think it's supposed to be difficult. So it's a bit shame that they're. I don't know how hard the Nerf hammer is gonna come in, but yeah, we'll see next Wednesday or
Yeah,
Thursday.
definitely. Actually, that's strange that it didn't say how much it's going to be nerfed by. That would have been pretty interesting to know. And just for the record, Shock Blast is the one on random single people, the extra hits, basically.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, I think that's pretty much covered stock, Tem, and normal. Matt, you're a healer. What? What's your?
Well, you try to be a healer, don't you?
Yeah, exactly. What's your take on the nerfs? Are they necessary? Is stock too hard?
Um, I personally think you have said before. I don't think it is too hard. I think it's a challenging fight. Who, at the end of the day, it's their challenge. I do agree on heroic. Maybe it did because as you said on 10 man, you don't have the perfect group. We can do it now. We've worked quite hard to do it. At the end of the day, we put a lot of effort into that, and that's what we're trying to sort out. But when it comes to other guilds, I don't know. Say if you have the perfect setup, it's a complete piece of it makes that fight a bit of a joke. If you don't
Yeah.
have the complete perfect setup, it's a challenge. So I think that's what they're trying to sort out. Will it need nerfing? No, not really. I don't think it does. It will make it a bit easier. Hey, you can't moan at that. But
But is it? And this is the same question for at the end. We're just 4 months in with half a month, maybe even a whole month, with holiday issues, meaning guilds wouldn't have been able to raid as much in one of the 4 months. Isn't it a bit too early?
I don't know because I think it probably goes with similar time frames. These aren't like waves of nerfs. They're just tweaking the last couple. And
Yeah.
at the end of the day, I don't know. I'd turn around and say maybe it's all right. I think it's
All
probably
right.
within time period. Say it's just one of these things. It's annoying for guilds like ourselves when you don't have the perfect setup. So I'm not going to say we have to try harder, but we probably do slightly. We have to try and do little tweaks and little bits and like that because there are guilds that basically cheese that a major part of that fight.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
but that's with almost every fight that you have
yeah,
some class or mechanic that you can take advantage of. And there have been fights where we've had that, and Thok is just one of those fights that We need to put a bit more effort in.
Yeah.
And I think that's perfectly okay. Yes, it sucks for 10 mans that you don't have everything. We don't have silence immunity from holy paladins. But so what? Heroic Thok, 10th heroic boss. It should be difficult. It should be a challenge. That's what heroic is there for. And 4 months in, as far as I'm concerned, way too early. Especially with no idea yet of when Draenor is going to come out.
I just want to also add, like, we're discussing this now, but of course, I think Blizzard has better access to statistics and numbers to how many guilds have done it and are struggling on it, and maybe they think that it should be going easier. So that is also probably just why they are doing it. Not just, and like Matt says, it's probably more a tweak than really a nerf hammer or something like that. I think the nerf that everybody's expecting, like the 30% less health damage and everything,
Yeah.
nerf is probably happening. I wouldn't say soon, but like in the next coming months somewhere. Like I would say 3 to 4 months. Probably it's somewhere going to happen.
Well,
But yeah, because we how many months do we have
yeah,
for
of
WoD?
course. For
6
WoD, we
months?
can say perhaps 6 months. Worst
Yeah.
case scenario, still 8 months. But if we
Yeah,
look at the
so we
numbers
still
from
have-
MMO
still have a
Champion
little-
from last week,
Yeah.
2.37% have killed Heroic Malkorok, which is the boss before Thok, and then pretty much half of that, 1.24%, have killed Heroic Thok. After 4 months, it is supposed to be a difficult fight, 10th out of 14 bosses on Heroic. I'd say that's pretty fine, especially if the 0.23% was where it is for most end bosses, like it is on Garrosh, after 4 months. Yeah, I think it's unnecessary at this point. And we
Yeah.
haven't even gotten to the next one yet, and I'm conflicted about that one, because we're still progressing on it.
Yeah, because those are heroic only nerfs, aren't they?
Yeah,
Yeah, so it's difficult for me to judge about that, so I'll leave that up to you two.
exactly. So let's just get right to it. The next boss, Heroic Siegecrafter Blackfuse, is being nerfed on Heroic 10 man and 25 man due to its massive increase. Yes, it is.
Oh, sorry. There's there's a couple of changes only
Exactly.
to temperament there.
Yeah, let me get to that.
I'm glad you're listening, darling.
Yeah, exactly. So, on Heroic 10 man and 25 man, Siegecrafters is being nerfed due to the massive increase in difficulty compared to the first 11 bosses. The Magnetic Crush and Shredder Overload, which are basically undodgeable damages, they're being nerfed. And then the superheated damage from the lasers is being nerfed. And then finally, for both difficulties at least, the disassembled turret health is being nerfed. And then we have one more nerf for Heroic 10 man only, which is the health of the active mines is going to be nerfed because 10 man teams have less crowd control options, which means, as we've noticed, the mines will come at you a bit faster. Yeah, Matt, I'll let you go first. How do you feel about these nerfs? Should we already have them?
No. I think I don't know. I'm always against nerfs. I like trying to kill everything properly. If you know what I mean, it's just the way I've always been. I prefer.
Nerfs sometimes feel like cheating, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
and
feels like it's like you're doing a boss on heroic, especially on heroic, and it's so difficult, and you like it. And then they come with a nerf, and you can't really change anything about it. It's just like, but I don't want to.
Yeah. What I feel like, because I guess there's a possibility we can get Siegecrafter down before the nerfs, but it's not likely, because we're still progressing on it. But once we do kill it after the nerfs, I'm gonna feel cheated out of my kill because it's nerfed after we started working on it before the nerfs. And I feel like 4 months wasn't enough time that they gave us to have a shot at the heroic stuff. Yeah,
yeah, I
it
think with
sucks.
that. Yeah, I think it is hard when you look at everything and is it going to be classed as a major nerf? Are we going to tell what's different? I think my major thought on it is there's too much definition on like some of the issues with the game, like some of the fights. With that particular fight, I think the main issues that we have isn't the damage; it's the RNG of it. It's a very RNG fight.
Who gets to the lasers and stuff
Yeah,
like that?
who gets the laser and stuff like that, and getting your cooldowns ready. Unfortunately, I can see why they've done it because they do probably look. Because isn't it a stupid figure that I didn't look at the figures, but is it something like this? 5 or 6% of killed Thok? Is it 4 or 3% of killed Siegecrafter?
Give me one moment. 1.24% have killed Thok, and 0.6 heroic Siegecrafter.
And to be fair, that is a big step up for one fight, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
When you think about it, when everything else has been quite gradual, for such, so you're basically saying that half the guilds that can kill Thok have not killed
Yes.
Siegecrafter yet, and that's quite a big majority of people. It's so I can understand it. I can understand why they've done it. I can understand why they've changed specifically to 10-man because it is true that the bombs can be a killer on that fight. Personally, for us, I don't think we normally have any issues with them because we have a fairly solid, decent setup if everyone's there ready to do it.
Yeah. I do have one thing to say, though. Yes, the overall, it is a huge step up in the curve, but the same could be said for it is heroic, and the first 8, 9 bosses are too easy for heroic.
Malkorok isn't. I hate that fight.
Okay, Malkorok aside, a good fair share of the start is very easy for heroic. You can burn through a couple of them in a week time if you put the real effort in.
Well, didn't we kill the first
But we still had roster issues at that point, so
Yeah.
we couldn't progress properly. But after we had sorted it, we went through a lot of bosses very quickly. So then they should have buffed up the difficulty of the first set.
Yeah, try and make them slightly harder, but I don't know. Do I agree? Probably not, but say we're on that fight now, so let's see if we can down it on Sunday.
Yeah. Who knows? And otherwise Monday maybe, hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah, so finally, on Heroic 10-man and Heroic 25-man, the Paragons of the Klaxi is being slightly nerfed. Both multi-shot and fiery edge damage will be reduced to reduce the frustrating burst damage deaths, basically. None of us have done that yet, sadly, so we can't really comment on it. Other than watching from videos, yeah, the damage does look pretty intense. And especially on 10-man, yeah, with only 2 healers, that might hurt, and I can see why people would get frustrated. So, sadly we won't be able to do it before the nerfs. And we'll just have to see how it looks after the nerfs once we get there. So, what we kind of have already discussed now is 4 months too soon for the nerfs? Now, we've already said the 1 month with the holidays, it just doesn't feel right. Going back to Siegecrafter, it's great that our setup won't have to be as strict, but yeah, it's too soon. That's all I really have to say about it. It's just too soon.
Yeah, I can see that as well. So it's a hard situation. They're trying to just, I think me and LJ said before, trying to do a couple of tweaks, trying to make it not because they are going to have a lot of people moaning at them about it. It's too hard, man. I'm going to nerf everything, man. But that's what happens, unfortunately, in these type of games. If anything's a bit too hard, people ask for it to be nerfed. Do I think it's a good idea? No. Do I think it's too soon? Yeah, I agree with you. You've got 3 months, 12 weeks, really, if you take Christmas out. You take the 4 weeks around Christmas out because you've got, even if you take just 2 weeks out of Christmas, 14 weeks of raiding to do everything before you start nerfing.
Starting with the normal mode, then moving on
That's
to
what I mean.
heroic.
Starting with normal mode, down to heroics, even with us, we probably, we lost a week because we were, say, a couple of issues the first week on Garage, but that we shouldn't have had, but we did, so we
Damn, the Death Knight disappearing.
yeah, so we sort of lost we had a bit of an issue there, but then it's just, is everything else, we had enough time on everything else? No, not really. So I think you look at some of these other places, like you look at the Arthurs, or people were doing Arthurs for only Arthurs for a longer time period before stuff got nerfed.
Well, yeah, but Garrosh, for example, is being nerfed. So a better thing would be, did Putricide, Synergosa, and the Bloody Queen get nerfed after already 4 months?
I don't think anything got nerfed.
No, not until the gradual buff thing.
Yeah, until the gradual buff. Like, again, that was the only thing that happened. Nothing got nerfed before that.
Yeah.
Unless directly buggy, so I don't know. It's not a good idea. What does LJ think?
Well, what do I think? I totally agree. Like comparing to Lich King's instance, pardon me. Nothing was nerfed there until the real nerf. I think the real nerf hammer, but it's still hard to recall. Of course, it's been a while. But I just think that nerfing already so soon is not a good thing, and that I get that people find it difficult, but because they find it difficult doesn't mean that it should be nerfed already. I think it's just because they think that people would have gone further already. More people would have come further with their guilds and killed more, that they think that things should be nerfed, but that people have a challenge.
Yeah.
I don't know what the consensus has been, to be honest, on the whole, on all the forums and such, fora.
Normally I know, but because it came out, the nerfs announcement came out late last night, and I've been busy all day, I haven't been able to read the forums.
You haven't been busy all day with the podcast? Oh my god.
I know, I'm so
You see, viewers,
sorry.
he really doesn't care about you guys.
He has a
Oh,
lot.
come on. Right after the podcast, I'm going to be working on the WoW Weekly site again. How am I not involved in the
Bullshit, you're going to play
podcasting
Dota
website?
with us.
Well, actually, I just got a message from the person who's helping me, so I might not be able to play Dota afterwards. But we'll see. We'll manage.
We'll see.
So, yeah, I do want to actually play Dota.
Yes, we do play a
Anyway.
lot of Dota.
Yes, we've been playing it quite a lot. On to the final point. We don't have discussion points. There isn't much else to discuss at this point. No suggestions have come in from you viewers. We're so disappointed in you. We were really counting on you. And Reddit hasn't really given us anything good. What was that, LJ?
Nothing.
Oh? Alright. Anyway, so we talked about this halfway through the first point, but with these two news items, basically, could Warlords be closer than we actually think it is? With already having nerfs, that's usually, what, 2 months before an expansion comes out? Or maybe a bit longer than that, but it usually is indicative of that the expansion, or at least the beta, is coming. And so with the saying that people should opt in, that soon they'll be able to buy it. And now these nerfs, is Warlords coming out sooner than we think?
It might.
Well, yeah, okay, end of discussion. It might. We're done,
It
guys.
might. I mean, we could talk about that the whole day, but we don't know. Like we discussed a long time with about the PvP season, and the timing
yeah.
of that. It's difficult to say what they are actually doing and
They are
thinking
kind
what to do.
They are kind of on the contrary to each other, aren't they?
Yeah, it's
One
they're being a bit
indicates-
hypocritical.
Yeah.
Let's say the left hand's doing the one thing and the right hand's doing the other thing. We all know what the right hand is doing, but that's another point.
PvPing.
Uh-huh. That's what you want to call it. But it's just difficult to say. I mean, I hope they make it through the summer and that that people who have summer break or summer vacation, whatever, can get a good start and actually play in a very good time for them, and not in middle of or the start of the school year. But I mean, we can
Like
guess a long
last
time
time.
because every expansion has been released in a different time so far. So it's
Yeah.
difficult to say who and what or where and when something will happen.
Yeah, I think you pretty much covered it. Matt, do you have anything to add to that?
No, it's the same as that. Would it be nice if they, as we said, um, I'm just trying to get there. As we said early on, it could come out soon. If they do bring it out soon, it'll be nice. It'll be bonus, and hopefully that will give us a time frame. But we'll see. Should be. We'll have to see. It'll be a piece of piss. Hopefully, it'll come out soon. You never know.
Hopefully. At least the beta, so we have some new stuff to do. New videos to make if we get beta keys.
I hope
And
so.
just have fun.
Give us that beta.
Exactly. We're looking at you, Blizzard. We need beta keys. For us three plus Mario and Anders. So we can do 5-man dungeons together.
Just hope one of us has a tank.
If needed, I'll roll a monk, a brewmaster, whatever. Doesn't matter. I actually quite like tanking as a monk. It's just getting the gear is a pain in the ass.
You
Yeah.
like tanking?
Yes, as a brewmaster, I really like it. It's fun.
I agree. Brewmaster is pretty fun with all the fire and stuff. So I like it as well.
I have a paladin tank and a monk tank, and I about like them both. So,
Okay.
Paladin healer, DPS.
No. and the rest of your
Thanks.
tank.
I have a DK tank, but I haven't played them that much. DKs are not that bad, to be honest. I like them as well. But getting off target, of conversation target here.
Oh yeah, what we were trying to do was close off the episode. But even in that, we managed to go awry and go completely off
Oh.
topic.
Give our viewers something extra.
Oh yeah, of course.
No, Messi, don't start stripping again. Oh, God.
Oh, come on, really?
Just putting the music on, getting the elephant thong out again.
I thought he had a Borat thing. You know,
Oh, yeah, getting the mankini on
That's
for the
surprise.
viewers.
Don't
The
spoil
monkey.
it.
At the end of the podcast, it's just a hi.
Oh.
I'm so glad it's over. Hi. I bet that will get some viewers.
Oh, please, not like that. I'd rather keep the low amount of viewers we have now. Yeah, so let's try this again. Thanks for watching. We don't, as we said, we don't have a discussion point this week. Let us know in the comments what you make of these two news bits. Is Warlords closer than we actually think it is? Or is it just all smoke and mirrors to try and convince us to stay? And stay subscribed, basically. Thank you for joining, LJ.
You're welcome. Glad to be here.
Oh, I'm glad to hear it. And,
I actually been paid, so it's going good, guys.
Yeah, he's actually been paid. Have you actually received it yet?
I don't think I don't. I'm not sure.
Stupid PayPal.
I have to check.
Anyway, thank you, Matt, as well for joining.
Always a pleasure.
I'm glad to hear it as well. Thanks to the viewer for watching. This was a bit of a messy episode, I feel. So apologies for that.
Messy.
Apologize.
Oh.
Yes,
Was a bit of
messy.
a messy episode.
Hey.
Oh dear God. I have actually... Before I go off topic again, thanks for watching. I'm Mezzy, and I'll see you again next time.